Hi there, and welcome to the ultimate guide on how to be a great guest at a wine tasting event. Prepare to uncork your sense of humor and let your taste buds dance with delight as we delve into the do's and don'ts of wine appreciation. We'll navigate through the vineyards of knowledge, sprinkling some relatable scenarios along the way. So grab a glass of your favorite wine and let's embark on this great journey together. Tasting wine on an empty stomach might sound tempting for those who chase the highs of alcohol, but trust me, there's plenty of time and more than enough wine to go around. Skipping a meal right before a day of wine tasting could be the best recipe for disaster. Picture this, you're oogling the 5 glasses of wines that are lined up in front of you whilst listening to the host's description, when suddenly your Tums emits a rumble that sounds like thunder. The host pauses and everyone looks around, and your Tums decides to let everyone know that it was you. And this is not the worst case scenario, by the way. You could be sampling your 5th wine when suddenly the booze hits you. You start speaking French with eloquence. You don't speak an extra word of French apart from merci beaucoup and croissant, by the way. Next thing you know, you're singing like a tone-deaf sailor and your pals have to escort you out. The end of what was supposed to be a fun-filled day of wine tasting. Be sure to check if there's a dress code, and if there isn't one, the safest theme to go for would be comfy casual chic. Wine tasting events at wineries often include winery, cellar, and even vineyard tastings, so it's always best to be prepared. Flip-flops are super comfy, but let's leave them for the beach. And as beautiful as those Louboutins may be, you might find that you'll be on your feet most of the time, especially if a vineyard visit is part of the deal and your poor feet will be cursing at you. Opt for wedges, dress sneakers, loafers, or my personal favorites, brogues. And ladies, never leave home without a shawl, cardigan, or a light jacket, because it could get chilly inside the cellars or even in the vineyards if it's windy. When it comes to wine tasting, wearing white is like walking through a minefield of Malbec and Merlot. Remember, wines and Murphy have a mischievous side and they're simply itching to get at your pristine garments. As much as I love white, I highly recommend opting for darker hues to save yourself from the stress of trying to remove that stubborn red wine stain. After all, no one wants to look like some modern art installation by the end of the day. Let's keep the wine where it belongs, inside the glass. And if you absolutely have to wear white, opt for something like this, which would hopefully partially camouflage any red wine stains. The tantalizing scents of a wine, fruity notes, toasty, smoky aromas from oak barrels, plus a hint of sophistication. But wait, what's this overpowering aroma? Is it a bouquet of flowers or a cloud of perfume? Oh no, it's your colleague who's decided to marinate herself in oud before arriving. No offense to oud, by the way. We all know that someone whose scent can be detected in an elevator even 10 minutes after they've left. We're here to appreciate the wine's aromas and not engage in a battle of fragrances. Remember, our scent should be as subtle as the delicate undertones of a Chardonnay to allow the wine to take center stage. As we enter into the world of wine tasting, the art of swirling wine becomes our secret weapon. Gently hold the glass by its stem and give it a graceful spin. Imagine your Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers dancing across the ballroom floor. This motion awakens the wines, releasing its complex aromas like a symphony of flavors that's waiting to be discovered. And who's Fred and Ginger? Well, it's time to have a chat with Grandma. But jokes aside, swirling wine takes some practice and it's nothing to be ashamed of. When I started my journey in wines, I found that leaving the glass on a flat surface such as a table really helped. So don't rush to swirl the glass in the air, lest all its contents would end up on your dress. As you bring the glass to your nose, take a deep breath But be careful not to inhale like an overexcited vacuum cleaner. Don't be shy to literally stick your nose inside the glass so that you can experience the wine's aromas in its full glory. Think of yourself as a wine detective, sniffing out hints of vanilla, blueberries, truffles. It's a sensory adventure that unveils the secrets hidden within each bottle of wine. And if you find yourself automatically smiling, it's definitely a great wine. Picture this. You're taking a sip of a luscious Cabernet Sauvignon and suddenly your face scrunches up in confusion. The wine smells of garlic, sesame, and chickpeas? No, it's definitely not the Cabernet Sauvignon. And then it suddenly hits you. You had hummus with ground beef for breakfast. Strong flavors can overpower the subtleties of a wine and leave our taste buds in a state of confusion. So before we embark on a wine tasting adventure, let's bid farewell to strong flavors such as coffee, cigarettes, and any other flavor saboteurs. The moment of truth. Take a sip of the wine and swirl it all around your mouth. Be sure to coat every nanometer and let the wine dance across your taste buds like a graceful ballerina. This will allow the flavors to unfold like a cinematic masterpiece. Is it a symphony of dark fruits, a tantalizing blend of spices, or perhaps both, plus some minerality thrown in? And please, no chugging back wine like you're at some frat party. It's called wine tasting for a reason and not wine guzzling. Now we come to the art of spitting. Yes, it sounds uncouth, and most of us grew up being told never to spit, but it's an essential skill for any taster, especially if you're tasting tens of wines, unless you want to end up like the drunken master. However, please refrain from unleashing your inner llama and spraying the room like a playful fountain. Get close and aim for the sides of the spit bucket with grace and precision. Why the sides? Well, logic dictates that if you aim directly into a partially filled spit bucket, it's simply going to splash back out at you. And no matter how seasoned a spitter you are, please don't try to spit over someone's head. And as ridiculous as that may sound, it actually does happen, especially when the spitter has had one too many. Better still, and this is my personal recommendation, especially if you're attending a mass wine tasting event such as wine fairs, bring your own spittoon. Don't have one? Don't worry. Don't throw out that Starbucks plastic cup. It could be the perfect spittoon, and you won't have to risk getting someone else's spit on you as you get close to the communal spittoon. And if you choose not to spit, don't underestimate the compounded effects of 20 tasting wine portions, or even more if the multiple brands featured. When I used to attend wine fairs in my previous life, I used to taste on average 100 wines, if not more, a day, mixing reds, whites, sparkling, fortifieds, and even dessert wines. The two things that I simply swore by on such days were 1, to eat a hearty breakfast, and 2, to spit, spit, spit. And bear in mind, even if you spit, there will be some residual alcohol that you will swallow and will make its way down your bloodstream. So it's important to pace yourself. A wine tasting event is not just about the wines. It's also an opportunity to network and to engage in lively and witty banter and really to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. Feel free to strike up a conversation with a complete stranger about the wine's great potential or just your opinion about the wine. You might meet a kindred spirit that shares your love for all things wine related, or discover a budding friendship that will accompany you on future wine adventures. In the world of wines, and in the world everywhere else as well, mistakes are bound to happen, and that's completely fine. So if you find that you actually mix up your reds with your whites, or you mispronounce the name of some prestigious vineyard, don't panic. Laugh it off and smile. After all, who needs perfect wine etiquette when you can bring some laughter and amusement to the event? And remember, even the most knowledgeable wine aficionados would have had their fair share of slip-ups. It's all part of the journey. always express your appreciation for the wines, the host, and the entire experience. Be genuine in your compliments, and if you're really struggling to find something nice to say, then keep it short and generic. Whenever I'm asked about a wine at a wine tasting event, I'd always try my best to find something nice that I can honestly say. It is well made, it's well structured, it's got good acidity, it has fruity appeal, it has some complexities, it reflects its terroir or varietal typicity, and so on. Now, when I like a wine, I can find so many descriptors and things to say about the wine. And if all else fails, raise your glass, clink it with others, and toast to the joys of discovery and shared moments. A simple cheers and thank you for hosting the event can go a long way in acknowledging the efforts that went into producing the wines that you're enjoying. Remember, wine tasting is as much about the camaraderie and the celebration as it is about the wine itself. Asking questions is yet another way to express interest and show appreciation for the wines and the producers. So ask away. It's like when someone's trying to get to know you and they ask you questions about yourself and you feel important and acknowledged. Wine tasting events are a great opportunity to learn about the wines, the regions that they come from, viticulture philosophies, winemaking techniques, and so much more. It's also a great way to pick up more wine tasting skills, and as they say, seek and ye shall find, ask and ye shall receive. Not every wine will be a match made in heaven with our taste buds, but that doesn't mean that we have to resort to snarky remarks or disdainful facial expressions. So if you have vocal eyebrows like mine, we just have to be careful not to be misunderstood. Sometimes, despite the anticipation, a wine may fall short of our expectations. But remember, every wine has a story to tell, and it's important to show respect even when they don't suit our palate. No one sets out to make bad wine, just like how no one on social media sets out to make bad content. Winemakers and producers put a lot of love and effort into their craft, and many times it may not be to our liking when it comes to taste, but it doesn't mean that the wine is bad. To me, a bad wine, and I don't mean one that's spoiled by the way, is one that is poorly made. There are many well-made good wines that I don't necessarily enjoy, but it's just my preference. So when you're at a tasting event and you're asked for your opinion on a wine, be as honest as possible, but with some diplomacy and tact. The self-proclaimed wine know-it-all, the person who dominates the conversation with their encyclopedic knowledge, dropping names of vineyard owners and reciting vintage years like there's some walking wine almanac. Whilst expertise is admirable, it's important to draw a balance between sharing your knowledge and allowing as well as encouraging others to contribute. Engage in conversations, listen attentively, and remember, wine is meant to be enjoyed and shared by all, regardless of expertise. As we conclude this grape-filled journey and armed with these commandments, you're now ready to conquer the world of wine tasting with style, grace, and a dash of humor. So go forth, my fellow wine enthusiast, and be the best guest at the next wine tasting event. Remember, it's not about being a sommelier or wine expert. It's about enjoying the experience and creating memories that will last a lifetime. So grab that glass, take a sip, and let the laughter flow like a fine aged Bordeaux. And as Homer Simpson said, here's to alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. Have a fabulous rest of the weekend, and here's to amazing health.